This Genesis Motors electrified GV70 is one of my favorite EVs that I've ever reviewed. And that's a lot considering just how many I reviewed over the years. So why is it one of my favorites? Well, that's what I'm going to explain to you on this latest review, so stick around. So why do I think that this electrified Genesis GV70 is one of my favorite EVs that I've reviewed and driven? Well, it's not any one thing, so I'll get to that because it is a combination of factors. But what I'll do is I'm going to tell you what I really like, and it's not perfect, so I'll tell you some of the things I don't like overall. It probably starts in the overall combination of things with the power and the batteries, and this is a dual motor system or all-wheel drive. It comes standard with dual 160 kilowatt electric motors, and it's paired to a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery. These two motors, when combined, offer a net output of 429 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. That's quick, that's really fast, efficient, and it's a lot of fun. And that's usually enough. But what I also love is on those rare occasions where 429 horsepower isn't enough, they have the boost button. And I love the boost button. It's sitting on your wheel, and when you press the boost button, for 10 seconds, you will get an increase in output up to 483 net horsepower. And it's a lot of fun. You don't want to use it all the time, and in those moments when you want to use it, it really makes a difference. Now, this is not the first time I've reviewed this GV70. I'm coming back to it, so to really tell you why I like about it. And so in my first review, I did do a sort of a launch demonstration. I'm not going to do it again. So what I'll do instead is I'll just show you what I did the last time when I demonstrated the boost button. Getting it ready into drive, and I'm going to press boost. I now have 10 seconds, so I might as well use it. Here we go. And we're already at 100 right now. That was like 4.5 seconds is what it's supposed to be. That was a blast. God, that's a boost. Boost your adrenaline too. So that's a lot of fun, and it's really neat to use that boost button when necessary. So what else do I like about this that makes it one of my favorites? Well, it's the charging capability. This Genesis, as well as some of the other Hyundais and Kias, operate on the 800 volt charging system. So that means when you're driving around, if you need a fast charge and you see a 350 kilowatt DC fast charger, you can pop onto it and you will go from 10% to 80% in just 18 minutes. That is optimally. There's always going to be some situations where it doesn't work due to various factors. It could be weather, temperatures, or state of charge. But I've demonstrated it on other vehicles with the same charging system before. I have every confidence in knowing that it does work, and that definitely is an advantage. Other luxury EVs in this category don't have the 800 volt system. Can't get it in Mercedes or Beamers or stuff like that. So this really is an advantage overall. I also really like the design of this vehicle. I mean, one of the things that some people who are interested in EVs don't like are some of the models out there really stand out and say, hey, look, I'm an EV. We're quirky, we're different. I mean, that could be said with the GV60, another vehicle I really, really like. But if you've seen the GV70 in the gas model and you look at this, there are some small differences. The front grille doesn't have to have air intake. And of course, there's no gas intake. There's no fuel door. Even where they put the charge port, they actually do it quite discreetly. It's in the front of the grille. You actually have to know where it is. Otherwise, you won't find it. But this, in every sense of the word, looks like the regular G70. There's not even any real badging on this, and the design really is quite attractive. This is really a luxurious, gorgeous-looking, smaller crossover with great lines and features. And the interior, too, you really have a sense of luxury in here. This is a gorgeous, comfortable interior. And it's quiet. Now, all EVs should be quiet, and that's true, but there's just something about the quietness inside this EV in the GV70. It just really exudes luxury and comfort. Now, in Canada, we only have the one trim, which is the Prestige, so I'm using the Napa leather seats, which really are elegant and it's comfortable. But it just seems like this is really a luxury vehicle in every sense of the word, and that definitely is something that's attractive. Also, what I like is the efficiency. I mean, it's not the most efficient vehicle out there, but for the amount of power it offers, its efficiency rating of a 23.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers in Canada and 37 kilowatt hours per 100 miles in the US is relatively good. Certainly there are more efficient luxury models that this would compete against. You know, this won't be as efficient as, say, the Model Y, but it is more efficient than certainly what you'd see in some of the Mercedes. It's really decent enough, so I can't complain about the efficiency rating. And certainly one of the other really good things about this vehicle is its pricing. When you look at it compared to some of the other luxury brands, this comes off as a bit of a value-oriented proposition. And that's something that the Koreans generally do all around. They have attractive pricing, and with this Genesis, the electrified GV70, it really comes off in the US in either trim, but in the one Prestige trim in Canada, it just seems that, yes, it's luxury, and no, it's not cheap, but for what you're really getting value pricing. And something else in this particular GV70 that is not great would be the range. This does have a posted EV range of 380 kilometers or 236 miles. That is because this is a powerful EV with the dual electric motors and the output. You have your standard 77.4 kilowatt hour battery, and it's going to use more power to get the output that is offered, so you're going to give up on the range. The offset, of course, is that with the 800 volt charging system, you are going to, when you do need to charge up quickly, if you have access to 350 kilowatt chargers, you're just not going to be at a fast charger for very long. It's also not really that significant if you charge overnight at home, but it's just something to consider. I will say that in my week of driving this, I have consistently been getting better estimated ranges than what's posted. I've been well over 400 kilometers all week in terms of the estimate. I've been doing a little bit more stop and go driving, which obviously improves range, but and there's a lot of factors that go into what your actual range is. It's just that, as the baseline, there are other EVs in this class that will offer much more range than this. And as this GV70 is not built on a dedicated EV platform, say such as the GV60 is, it can be a little bit small, especially in the back seat. I mean, it's not often that I have people in the back seat, but when I've had my kids sitting in the back, and even my youngest at 14, she's quite tall, I do have to move my seat forward to make sure she's comfortable back there. It's not often, but if you are somebody who has people in the back seat, especially behind you, the fact that this is smaller might not be the greatest in terms of convenience or comfort. The user interface that we have here, the control knob that we have, it can be a little bit tricky, especially if you're trying to, find things on the touchscreen, the infotainment screen, because, there's a lot of moving around and in lieu of buttons, it can be a little tricky. And some of the things that really aren't great, from a tech perspective, well, most of the things here, are fine. The one disadvantage I do see here, which seems odd, is in terms of wireless connectivity, there is no wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. And I say that because this is a luxury vehicle, and when nowadays you're getting into, mainline brand vehicles that cost a lot less like this, that offer, wireless connectivity for those things standard, it just does seem a little bit not right that I have to connect through a USB to get that should I want to use it. So that's not something that I like, and I would assume that at some point, if they continue with the next generation of this, it will be improved. But I mean, that's really kind of one of those things I go, really? So with all that backgrounder, why then do I feel this is probably one of my favorite EVs that I've driven? And again, I've driven most of them. I've driven a whole bunch of vehicles. I've done hundreds of views. Why do I like this one so much? Well, it's not because it's the best at any one thing. As I said, it's not the fastest. It's not the most powerful. It doesn't have the greatest range. It's not the most roomy. But it's the combination of everything. I think just in terms of all the things combined, it is luxurious enough. It is fast enough. It is quick enough in terms of charging. It is spacious enough for most of my daily driving, and it's priced well enough compared to who it might be seen competing against in this category. So I think it's just the overall combination of everything. This is one that I would definitely consider owning and driving as a daily driver. I'm not sure when I'm next going to be looking for a new vehicle, but it certainly would be one of those ones that I just say, yeah, I can see myself driving this. And I guess that to me, just based on all the experiences that I have and the opportunities I've had to drive hundreds of different vehicles, that's got to say a lot. So what do you think? Is this electrified GV70 one of the best EVs on the market right now? Do you have a different one that you prefer? Let me know by putting in a comment. And if you did enjoy this video, consider sharing it with others. If you're not subscribed to the Novak Report YouTube channel, please consider doing so. And if you are a subscriber, thank you, but remember to ring the bell so that you get notified of every time I upload something new. That's it for now. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.